South Africa has many gangs, and most fight over drugs, power, and money. But in this video, we will be talking about gangs that control the traffic routes, the taxi gangs of South Africa, and their influence on society. All of us have had some type of sour experience with taxis on the road. As a result, they are symbolic for two reasons: bad driving and violence. However, it is important to understand where this all started, and like most things that relate to crime and poverty, it all started during the apartheid time. The taxi industry was tightly regulated and controlled at the time, and it was almost impossible for a black man to obtain a taxi license. Eventually, towards the end of apartheid, the laws had changed, and almost anyone could apply for a license. The problem with this was, it happened overnight, so permits were delayed in being released, and many drivers had to wait months. It came to the point where you had to bribe the person in charge to get your license, so many took matters into their own hands and started driving illegally. With over 200,000 drivers nationwide, the industry is worth billions, but a driver only makes around 3,000 rand at the end of the month because there are so many around. To protect certain routes and increase profits, many have forged together in order to put food on the table. A separate group, known as eNCA, thrive off these taxi wars. They are hitmen hired out by taxi bosses to take out opposing gangs. They have no affiliation to a certain taxi gang or boss, only to the highest bidder. The cost to hire one of these hitmen depend on who the target is. A passenger starts at around 2,000 rand and increases to 4,000 rand for a taxi driver. A low-level member in a gang can cost as much as 20,000 rand, while a hit on a taxi boss can reach up to 300,000 rand.
What were the reasons that one person in the taxi industry was hiring you to kill someone else?
Amareason iyikhundla ne-agreement sabavumelani ngezinto ekufuneka kanjalo zenzeke, nanokuthi omunye usolakala ukuthi udla imali, bayamsaba, abakwazi ukuthi bamface, bakhulume naye face to face. So the best solution ukuthi akabulawe.
Many private drivers like Uber or Bolt are threatened by gangs not to cross routes with their taxis or passengers. One of the worst taxi wars was the Cape Peninsula Taxi War from 1990 to 1992, where two rival gangs fought for turf. It was between the Laguna Taxi Association and the Western Cape Black Taxi Association. The dispute was over permits because the Western Cape Taxi Association had secured permits and traffic routes while the Laguna had been excluded. More than 2,000 people died. With links and affiliations in key places, combined with their illegal guns, the taxi gangs arguably have more influence on society than the South African police. What some of us in South Africa may not know is that when the police failed to control the looting situation in July 2021 and the army was delayed in their response, the taxi bosses realized the effects it would have on their businesses. Looting meant people wouldn't have jobs, the economy would take a hit, and there would be no one to transport. So they took it into their own hands to stand off and help others in the community to protect the malls and shops. The taxi gangs undoubtedly have a massive influence on society, to the point where the government is not even in a position to control them. Although this is not acceptable and the gangs' methods are harmful, it offers a different perspective and understanding of why the taxi industry has a sort of bitter reputation.